Hey, this is Jesse for Bit to Brain, and today I want to go over optimizing and organizing your desktop. A lot of times, I had this happen the other day and it kind of hit home with me. A lot of times people will just jump into a new operating system like Yosemite and not really explore the interface too much. They'll just jump in and start, browsing the web or checking email or using Photoshop, Word, Excel, whatever, and they don't really take the time to explore even the simple things on the interface. So I had someone the other day ask me, this is someone who's been using a Mac for at least a year, and they said, "Hey, how do you get your disk, your hard drive disk on your desktop?" So right here, how do you get that? And I said, "Wow, yeah, that's something you probably should know." So in order to do that, we'll start with that. You go up to Finder, Preferences, and you see this option here for hard disk. Click on that, and it goes away. Click on it, it shows up again. So that's it. As far as connected to servers, putting in disks and all that, if you don't see that showing up, it's because you don't have this selected. So you got to select these options. So like I said, it's the same thing. As soon as you unclick that, it goes away. So it would be like that if you stuck a disk in. It won't show up if you don't have this particular CDs, and iPod selection. So let's connect to a server. So this is an actual server on my network that we're going to connect to. Okay, now we're connected, and we have all these options here selected. So you say, hey, where's the disk? Why didn't it show up? You actually have to click on one of these folders. So you have to click within it for it to show up. Okay, so now I can explore any of these items within the server. Now, in order to eject this disk now, there are several ways you can go about doing it. You can click this button, this eject button. You can highlight this disk, drag it down to the trash. You can come over here to File. You can eject it that way. Or you can just hit Command D. Now I like to hit Command D because that's the quickest way of doing it. Now if you do this, it's not going to let you do it unless you click. You have to highlight the drive. So sometimes you'll go to click Command D and it won't work, but just highlight the drive and then do it and it'll work. All right, so there's other options within here that you can kind of go through. It's kind of at your discretion. Close that out. Now this tags, I didn't really think about going through the Finder here, but this tags option is really cool. I love this feature. I use it often. Here are the tags down here. Now these, I designate red usually as just mission critical items, stuff I'm working on that needs to get done quickly. But in order to enter something in there, you actually, let's take this fig6.jpg over here. Hit Command I, click on Add Tags, highlight a color, so we're going to do red. So close that out, and now you see it's added there. And that is extremely useful. Now if you don't see this tags section over here, it's because you probably don't have it selected in our next item we're going to talk about, sidebar. So if you don't have this selected down here, you won't see it there listed in your sidebar. That goes for any of these items. Now you see I have a decent amount of items here, probably more than I really need. So say for instance I wanted to get rid of documents there. I click on that, now documents is gone. So that's another one of those things. Once you know what this does, it's kind of up to you to decide how you want to customize this. I like to keep my tags there because I use them often. So this is a little cluttered over here. I have maybe too many items over here, but hey, it's up to whatever you want to do. So now if we go to advanced, this is another one of those things. It's kind of up to you. Do you want to show the file name extensions? Do you want to give or get a warning before changing extensions or emptying your trash? Now I will say empty trash securely. That's one of those things. If you have important items, financial documents and whatnot, I'd probably select this. But again, you don't really need to. You could just, when you empty your trash, just go up to Finder and do Secure Empty Trash. And this is also one of these things where do you want to search the whole system or just do quick searches on particular folders. Now, if you have your desktop, like most people, with stuff scattered all about, I'm going to go ahead and create a bunch more files on this system. All right, so now we got a butt ton of files on our system. And actually, I have this. I don't want to sort. So most of the time, this is what you're going to see on someone's system, especially someone just coming from Windows. I don't mean to stereotype, but that's what you're normally going to see. So you're going to see these files scattered everywhere. So you're a tech support guy, help desk guy. You come down there, and you look at this, and you go, oh, what am I looking at? So the thing you have to remember is, by having all these images on your desktop, your system has to render each of these. So if it's slow on startup, get rid of a lot of these items, put it in a folder. So I would take all these items and stick them in a folder. But if you need items on your desktop for whatever reason, sort it. Now you could come up here and you can clean up, and that really doesn't really do much of anything. You can clean up by name. That's what you want to do. Now the difference between cleanup and sort is with cleanup, see, I can still move this stuff. Now if I do sort by, I'm putting these items on lockdown. You see it snaps back every time? So that's the huge difference between the two. Now to highlight all these, you just click on it to the side and click and drag it all the way down. Now you see I accidentally selected Aptana. Hold down your control key to deselect. So I can highlight a bunch of items, as you see there. Just hold down the control key to deselect these particular items. So in case you don't know, there's a couple ways you could delete items. You can highlight it, all the items, go to the trash can, do it that way. Or you can just, because I'm an impatient guy, this is a little quicker, hold down the command and delete key, and it'll delete them all for me. Now just remember, keep your desktop nice and clean so it won't slow down. And if you need to sort your items, you could do it there. Just highlight the desktop, hold down the control key, and you can sort by any way you want. Now, also, let's talk about changing your desktop. Now, if you want to change your desktop, I have the generic default here. You can do that from here. Now, you can get to this as well from desktop and screensaver. And what you saw I just did, I highlighted the desktop, hit the control key, change desktop. So let's just make sure that we know that there's a difference between desktop and screensaver. Now, the screensaver, you set here, any of these options, and it can work with your security and privacy. So you can make it so, I'm sure you've seen it, or you might have in your system, maybe a system administrator set it up if you didn't, that you have to enter in a password to take that screensaver off. And that's where you would set it. So you'd set it when it starts, and then you'd say, after how many minutes it's going to start up, the screensaver, and then you would come over here and set your password, and you would set it at what interval. But as far as our desktop goes, we can select a solid image. We can change pictures. We can, rotate them, make it random order. That's really bright. We can come over here and set, if we have particular images in mind that we'd like to show, we can select them here. Now, here's something kind of curious. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this because I'm going to use that image, but I just want to show you. As you see here, I'm within the pictures folder here, but you're not allowed to see subfolders. So no subdirectories will show up here. It doesn't work like that. You actually have to select this BG folder here as an option, because again, pictures folders does not see subfolders. So now that I see that, I select that, and that's covering up the whole screen. It's kind of a cool image. But let's say I just want to center it. So I'd come here and center it there. That's not bad. I have other options here. I can tile it. That's kind of funky. Stretch to fill screen. That's usually going to make it look kind of ugly. Fit the screen. Fill screen. I want to actually center this. Then you could change the background right here. There you go. Wow, that's really masculine. We can use eyedropper. Come in here. We want to match it up a little bit. I think, Let's do that again, make it a little darker. This is not art class. Anyway, that's good enough. You can have this picture change at intervals if you'd like. It's kind of up to you. If you want to select a bunch of pictures, if you have ADHD generation, it's up to you. I just like this. I'm going to stick with this. And I think that'll be the end of this tutorial. Again, sort your items as needed. You don't want a lot of stuff in your desktop. It's going to take a while for it to render on startup. So, if your system's running slow and you're just looking at little things, it's not a game changer or anything like that, but it can help speed up your startup, usually, at least a little bit. Remember to see your drives on your system. Go to Finder, Preferences, General, and you'll see the items listed there. So you want to get rid of the hard disk. So you see it disappeared. Tags. Tags are really cool. You can customize these too. You can add your own tags. I can come in and manipulate the text here. So I'd say definitely take advantage of that. And again, if you don't see this show up on your sidebar, it's because the tags aren't selected here. So we also have show view options. So on your desktop, click the control key. We can also get to that up here under view, show view options. It's also Command J. So let's just Command J. So you can increase or decrease your icon size. So if you want to grab your magnifying glass, or if you have bad vision, so you can change it as needed. You can change your grid spacing, as you see. If you want these items not to be pulled to the right, you can change your size, text size, your positioning. You could do many things here. This is one that I like this option. I like clicking this on because I want to see how many items are in each folder. I want to see how many items are on my drive. See, I can do that by selecting that. So to me, that's an important item to select. If I have a bunch of folders with one item in them, it's kind of like, why do I even have this folder here? And show icon preview, I like this too because it can kind of see, especially on an image, like what I might be looking at. And again, there's another sort option there, just like before. All right, that'll conclude this tutorial. I hope you learned something. I hope to have more tutorials for you in the future. Thanks for watching. This is Jesse for Bit to Brain.